In this new class, we are going to see how to work with shapes, create groups, and create transformations from one object into another. Here I created a drawing object. When I hold down drawing object in the side here, I can see in the properties panel that I just created an object. I delete it. I can see one is positioned above the other. We are working with depths. This is not something that could happen with shapes. If we disable the drawing object functionality, we are creating the most primitive object we talked about at the beginning of the class, which is a shape. When I overlap one shape with another, or more than one, what happens is that they intersect each other. That is, the parts that overlap are subtracted, whether it is border or borderless. We can avoid this by creating drawing objects or even creating groups. As we can see, the shapes don't have depths. Shapes are the most primitive objects. What does this mean? Every time we place an object within the stage, it is placed at a different depth. This doesn't happen with shapes, but it does happen with all the other kinds of objects. Now we can see that I just created a group, and I'm allowed to see the object. Right-click it, arrange it, and I can send it to the front or send it to the back. As we can see the group objects do not have this problem of subtraction of the part that is in the intersection. I'm going to draw the shape again. If I don't have the drawing object tool selected, it is not a group, it's just a simple shape. A new frame, more ahead, we can draw the two keyframes, do the twin, and then change the objects. You don't necessarily have to define the objects first. So here a rectangle becomes a slightly more amorphous object that even in the transformation it loses its edge. This is something that we can perfectly do within Animate. Now you have to be a little careful when the figures are more complex. We're going to see that there are some functionalities to guide the path of each one of the nodes from the start keyframe to the end. But many times it can happen that when you try to transform a complex object that has more nodes than the ones we just made, in the middle it breaks. So to avoid this problem, we have to create some intermediate frames to guide the object towards the transformation that we want. We will see that in the next class.